So today I'm going to be showing you how to replace your lower control arm, which has the ball joint in it. So basically I'm going to be showing you how to replace a ball joint in your Chrysler Sebring. This one's a 98.
Hey guys, I'm Jordan and you're watching Fixbook. After watching this video, your car problem stand-up has as much a chance as this laptop does against my hot leg. Now, make sure you stay tuned so you can see what happened to the laptop at the end of this video. And as always, don't forget to subscribe, like, and leave a comment down below.
Okay guys, here's the tools you'll need for today. Before I read off the tools to you, I just want to say it's not a job for the faint of heart. This is going to be a difficult job. Having a little bit of automotive experience will definitely be a big help. You wouldn't want to attempt this as a first project. So, let's say I'll go ahead and begin. You're going to want a lower control arm with a ball joint in it. This video doesn't show you how to replace this ball joint, it just shows you how to replace the whole lower control arm with the ball joint attached. And then of course you're going to need a jack stand, and then I have a ratchet here, a regular ratchet will work. An impact would be really helpful. You may be able to get by without it. You also need a special ball joint tool. You would not be able to get by without the special ball joint tool. You can get that at Harbor Freight or some other kind of tool store, Northern Tools, for about 20 bucks or so. Maybe more expensive at Northern Tools. You also got just a pair of pliers, needle nose pliers, crescent wrench. We got a 32-ounce hammer, breaker bar, a 19mm socket, a flathead screwdriver, a really thick, sturdy flathead screwdriver. We got 15mm, 18. This one's a gear wrench. These are regular combination wrenches. And then we got an extended ratchet, the 15mm socket, 18mm socket, a deep 18mm socket, a 6mm hex or 6mm Allen socket, a few different extensions. Then I have a 1/2 inch to 3/8 dry. I use that to use my smaller sockets. And then that's pretty much it. So also guys, I just want to let you know, doing this the first time, it took me about 3 to 4 hours. With all that said, we'll go ahead and begin today's project. Okay guys, now the first thing we're going to want to do is go ahead and lift up your car. I'm going to show you where we can do that, and we want to put a jack stand under there to ensure we do a safe job. And basically a good lifting spot is right here where you see I got my jack. There's a ridge that goes along, and you're just going to lift up on that ridge. And as far as placing your jack stand, you can place it over there. You don't want to place it somewhere on your lower control arm, since we're going to be replacing the lower control arm. And then next, you will take some PB Blaster or liquid wrench, doesn't matter, and spray all the threads we're going to be removing. I'll show you those threads here in just a second, because there's a good chance they're going to be stuck on there pretty good, and you want to make it as easy as possible when removing those fasteners and bolts. So I'll show you here in just a second. Okay guys, talking about lubing up your threads here, I'm just going to show you the points to hit with your PB Blaster or liquid wrench. You got, first of all, the ball joint stud and that castle nut. Go ahead and spray that. And then you'll have a bolt coming through here, and on the other side you should have a nut and some threads you can spray those. And then you should have a nut coming through here and a bolt on the other side. Really try and get, this will be the most difficult one, but try and get to the nut on the other side and spray those threads as well. And then from here, there should be a bolt coming through the bottom, and just go ahead and do your best to get the spray on the threads there as well. So now I'll show you the first step. Okay guys, so now I'm going to show you the first thing we're going to do. And I noticed I skipped over the wheel part. This particular thing came with wheel locks. I don't know if that's stock or not, but if you do and you can't find your wheel lock, a lot of times they'll be in the trunk with all your wheel removal stuff. So pretty much just lift up the car. It'll be a 19mm socket you'll put on the end of your tool to remove your wheel. And then next, what we've got, now that I adjust the wheel, we have a cotter pin that needs to be taken out. And a cotter pin is going to be the guy that's sticking in the end of this castle nut. What you're going to want to do is bend them around, and then you'll see on this side I've already got them straightened out. Like I was saying there, you can see on this side I've got them straightened out, and the light is not working in my favor, but you can see there's this piece. I've got them straightened out, and then what you'll do is you'll take a pair of pliers and you'll pull them all the way out, and that will allow us to remove our castle nut. So just grab a hold of them, and there we go. That's the cotter pin, and then it's going to be in your castle nut. And like I said, you just bend them around, and there we go. Now, okay guys, the next thing we're going to do here is we're going to remove this castle nut here that's attached to your ball joint stud there, and I believe it's a 21mm. I actually used a crescent wrench because I didn't have a 21mm combination wrench. So go ahead and remove this guy. If he spins on you, or if you're not able to turn him, check out some of my ball joint or tie rod and castle nut videos. You can search Fixbook castle nut or Fixbook ball joint spins, any of those will be helpful in showing you how to remove this nut here. So go ahead and remove that guy and I'll show you what's next. Okay guys, the next thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to come in here with your ball joint tool. It's a special tool you're going to need, and basically how this guy works is you got your stud. This top piece is going to go on the end of that stud. This other piece is going to come underneath right here, and then you're going to tighten this fastener here, and that's going to make that guy go down in like you just saw me do. It's going to separate the ball joint, so it's a ball joint separator. If you need more help on this, again, just look up Fixbook ball joint and you'll find videos showing you how to do that and manage that. So once you got them loose, you should be able to pick up on your knuckle and it should be loose from your lower control arm. We're going to need that when we're replacing our lower control arm. So here in just a second, I'll show you what's next. Okay guys, the next thing you're going to want to do here is we have a fastener sitting right here. It's a 15mm on this side and 18mm on the nut on the other side. And when I removed it, the nut came off and this bolt did not budge. And so I took it off over here on this side, and you can see my nut's already off. And then I beat on it with a hammer on this side. So then you'll be able to remove this bolt and fastener. So that's going to be 2 out of 5. Remember, we got 5 total things we have to remove. It's going to be this guy, we've got this corner back here, that other corner, it's like a triangle, and then we have this middle guy sitting right here on top there as a bolt, and we've got to deal with this whole mess. So 2 out of 5, we're almost home. So here in just a second we'll see what's next. Okay guys, so the next thing we got to remove is the nut that's sitting right here. It's going to be an 18mm, and then on top there's a place for a hex or Allen socket. You know, take a 6mm Allen socket there and stick that in so you can hold it, because it's probably not going to come out by its own just by spinning this 18mm. So get your ratchet going through like that and get you a combination wrench, and we'll go ahead and remove that thing. So after that we'll see what's next. Okay guys, next we're going to be working on that corner bolt and nut back here, and it's going to be that guy right there. It's an 18mm, and we'll see basically coming out, you got this neat little guy right here where you got a tab and a nut attached to it. So that's pretty neat. It makes it easy going back in. So that's where you have to stick your fingers up there, and you can see it was sticking out like that. It's got that little tab sticking out, but when you take it out, it'll drop out. And yeah, basically you just want to remove that bolt. It's going to pull right out once you've got it undone from the nut there. And fortunately you don't have to hold a combination wrench up there to hold it. You just unscrew it from the side, and I took an extension. You see, I have quite the extension there with an 18mm, and I drove it out. So next I'll show you what we're going to do with our next fastener. Okay guys, now the next step we have here is probably going to be one of the most difficult steps, so pay attention close. I'm going to explain the strategy of how to remove your bolt that sits right there. It's a 15mm head on that bolt, and on the other side there's an 18mm socket. Now, the way I was able to go about doing this is you'll take your combination wrench, you're going to come on the other side up here, and you're going to hold that 18mm nut with this combination wrench, and then with your other hand or with another person, you're going to get a 15mm and loosen up on this side. That's how I was able to do it. I used an impact. I had another person impact it while I held onto the nut, and that's how we were able to do it. I was able to use my left hand, this guy right here, and do a ratchet while I held it with my right hand, but that method will work. It'll take a little bit longer though. So that's the strategy you'll use to remove this fastener, and that should be all 5 of them here. So in just a second we'll see if I'm pulling this lower control arm off. Alright guys, now when it comes to removing your lower control arm, you've got those 5 different fasteners out. The strategy you're going to use to do this, I'm going to show you what you're going to do, is first of all you want to pull your knuckle up and off and out of the way, and you also want to pull your shock up and off and out of the way so it clears that side of the lower control arm. And then with your right arm, what you're going to do is you're going to position yourself like you see me. We're going to get in here, you're going to, with your right arm, you're going to grab this piece, and then with your other arm, you're going to grab that lower control arm, and then you're going to lift up and out of that stud that it's sitting in, and you're going to lift up and out, and you're going to pull, and you're going to rock it side to side, up and down, until you finally pull it out. And that's the position that you'll be in order to get that out. I've already pulled mine out, but as long as you know that strategy, you should be fine when pulling your lower control arm out. So now I'll take a look and show you what you need to know about putting it back in. Okay guys, now a couple things to consider when installing this thing back in. I'm going to walk you through the tough parts. Now basically you're going to work this in first into that slot into the body of your car, then you're going to get this in. In order to get this in, what I had to do is I had to bang on it with a hammer right here. Then when I went to put the bolt in, I came from underneath, and of course you got that nut, that hidden nut that's really difficult to get to up top. Is I basically had to come in with a hammer because this part was in too far. So I would come and wedge and wedge and wedge, and then eventually I got this exposed enough down at the bottom again, and I was able to come up under and kind of stick a screwdriver up through there while pulling at the same time, and I was able to move it in such a way to this finally lined up. And then what you'll do is you'll stick the bolt back up in there and then reach around with the wrench like I told you about earlier, and then you will have somebody else run that in there with the impact if you have, or you may not have. If not, you can use your ratchet and you'll be able to figure that out. So, and the next difficult task would be this guy right here. What you're gonna have to do is take your bolt and come in from this side. You'll hammer it in, but before you do that, you're gonna want to make sure you get this nut installed, because you'll have your ratchet over top there with your 6mm Allen socket holding it, and then you'll tighten this guy up, because you can't tighten this guy up if this guy's installed, because then the shock or strut thing is going to be in your way. So make sure you do this one first. Then, like I said, you're going to hammer that one in, get your nut in on that side. Then you'll work this guy on and just get him down really good and tight and get that cotter pin through. And that's pretty much it. So this is pretty much a job for a more skilled laborer, a more skilled mechanic, because it's quite a tough job. So you should be able to figure out the rest on your own. So that's going to conclude today's project. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time.
Thanks for watching, guys, and don't forget to subscribe so you can catch all my new videos, which publish Mondays and Fridays at 9 a.m. Pacific Time, 10 a.m. Mountain Time, 11 a.m. Central Time, 12 p.m. Eastern Time, and I will see you then.